Jack and Bruno were two peas in a pod. From the moment Jack brought Bruno home, a tiny bundle of fur with eyes full of curiosity, they formed an unbreakable bond. It was as if they were destined to be together, each completing the other in ways only they could understand. Since Bruno was a puppy, they were inseparable. Jack would spend hours teaching Bruno new tricks, and Bruno, with his boundless energy and enthusiasm, was always eager to learn. Their days were filled with playful antics and moments of pure joy. Long walks in the park became their daily ritual. Every morning as the sun rose, Jack and Bruno would set out on their adventure, exploring new paths and meeting other dogs and their owners. The park was their sanctuary, a place where they could escape the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Cozy evenings by the fireplace were their favorite. After a long day, they would curl up together, Jack with a book in hand, and Bruno resting his head on Jack's lap. The warmth of the fire and the comfort of each other's company made these moments truly special. Even sharing a plate of scrambled eggs on a lazy Sunday morning was a cherished tradition. Jack would cook breakfast, and Bruno would sit patiently by his side, waiting for his share. Their bond was something special, a testament to the love and trust they had for each other. Bruno, a golden retriever with fur like spun gold, lived for Jack's attention. His eyes would light up with joy whenever Jack called his name, and his tail would wag furiously, creating a happy rhythm against the floor. His tail thumping a happy rhythm against the floor at the mere mention of his name was a sight to behold. It was as if Bruno's entire world revolved around Jack, and in many ways, it did. Jack often talked about Bruno as his family. He would share stories of their adventures and the little quirks that made Bruno unique. To Jack, Bruno was more than just a pet. He was a confidant, a loyal companion, and a source of endless joy. A sentiment Bruno seemed to understand with a tilt of his head and a soulful look in his big brown eyes. Those eyes spoke volumes, conveying a depth of understanding and love that words could never capture. Their connection was undeniable, a language spoken through pats, belly rubs, and a shared love for chasing squirrels in the park. Every moment they spent together was a testament to the bond they shared, a bond that grew stronger with each passing day. Whether it was playing fetch, enjoying a quiet moment, or simply being in each other's presence, Jack and Bruno were truly inseparable. Their story was a beautiful reminder of the unconditional love and companionship that a dog can bring into one's life. Enter Emily, Jack's newlywed wife. She was a kind and loving woman, but she couldn't understand the depth of the bond between Jack and Bruno. Every time she walked into a room, Bruno would be sprawled across Jack's lap, or Jack would be busy playing fetch, completely oblivious to her presence. She wished Jack would look at her the way he looked at Bruno, with pure adoration and unconcealed love. The attention that Bruno received, the constant cuddles, the endless games of fetch, it all felt like a competition she never signed up for. As the days turned into weeks, Emily's feelings of being sidelined grew. Every attempt to cuddle with Jack on the couch was met with a furry body squeezing its way between them. Every romantic dinner was punctuated by Bruno's pleading eyes, begging for scraps under the table. Emily started to resent Bruno, seeing him as the third wheel in her marriage. The playful nudges felt intrusive, the happy barks seemed excessively loud, and the ever-shedding fur became a constant reminder of her husband's divided attention. The joy in their home, once overflowing, felt strained, the air thick with unspoken feelings. One crisp autumn afternoon, Jack decided to take Bruno for a hike in the nearby woods. The air was filled with the earthy scent of fallen leaves, and the forest was alive with the vibrant colors of autumn. Jack loved these moments of tranquility, where he could escape the hustle and bustle of daily life and connect with nature. Emily opted to stay home, choosing a good book over the company of her husband and his other best friend. She had always been more of a homebody, finding solace in the pages of a novel rather than the unpredictability of the great outdoors. As she settled into her favorite armchair, she couldn't help but smile, knowing Jack and Bruno were enjoying their adventure. The sun was setting, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, when Jack decided to turn back. The forest, bathed in the warm glow of the setting sun, looked almost magical. Jack paused for a moment to take it all in, feeling a deep sense of peace and contentment. Bruno, ever the loyal companion, wagged his tail happily beside him. As they walked, Jack, lost in thought, tripped over a tree root hidden beneath a pile of fallen leaves. The sudden jolt brought him back to reality, but it was too late to regain his balance. He stumbled forward, arms flailing as he tried to catch himself. He tumbled down a steep incline, landing with a sickening crunch at the bottom. The world spun around him as he tried to make sense of what had just happened. Pain radiated through his body, and he knew something was seriously wrong. He lay there, his ankle twisted at an unnatural angle, pain shooting up his leg. Every movement sent waves of agony through him, and he realized he couldn't stand. Panic began to set in as he looked around, the forest now seeming much more menacing than it had just moments before. He was alone, injured, and with night fast approaching. The once beautiful forest now felt like a prison, the shadows growing longer and the temperature dropping. Jack knew he had to stay calm and think clearly if he was going to find a way out of this situation. He reached for his phone, but to his dismay, there was no signal. Bruno, sensing his distress, stayed close, offering silent comfort. Jack took a deep breath, trying to steady his racing heart. He knew he had to find a way to signal for help or make it back to the trail. The adventure that had started so peacefully had taken a dangerous turn, and Jack could only hope that Emily would realize something was wrong and come looking for him. Bruno, sensing the gravity of the situation, sprang into action. He barked once, loud and sharp, before racing back down the trail towards home. He ran as fast as his paws could carry him, a blur of golden fur against the darkening woods. Emily, startled by Bruno's frantic barking at the door, knew instantly that something was wrong. Bruno had never left Jack's side during a hike, and his frantic demeanor sent chills down her spine. She followed Bruno as he led her through the winding path, his barks echoing through the silent woods, guiding her towards Jack. Section 6. A Change of Heart. Fear clutched at Emily's heart as she found Jack lying at the bottom of the incline, his face contorted in pain. Relief washed over her when Jack weakly called out, confirming he was conscious. She carefully made her way down to him, her worry for Jack eclipsing any lingering resentment towards Bruno. As she comforted Jack and tried to make him comfortable, Bruno never left their side. He whined softly, licking Jack's hand, his big brown eyes filled with worry. In that moment, Emily saw Bruno not as a rival for her husband's affection, but as a loyal companion who had just saved her husband's life. Section 7. Forgiveness and Gratitude. Help arrived soon after, alerted by a hiker who had heard Bruno's frantic barks. As Jack was carefully loaded onto a stretcher, Emily knelt down and hugged Bruno tightly, burying her face in his soft fur. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice choked with emotion. In that moment, all resentment vanished, replaced by a wave of gratitude and newfound respect for the dog her husband loved so much. She realized that Bruno wasn't trying to replace her. He was just trying to love them both in his own way. Section 8. Unbreakable Bond. Jack's recovery was slow, but Bruno was his constant shadow, a furry guardian angel always by his side. Emily, no longer jealous, joined them on their journey of healing. She learned to read Bruno's cues, to understand his barks and whines, to appreciate the unconditional love he so freely gave. She started to see the world through Jack's eyes, recognizing the purity of the bond he shared with Bruno. It wasn't a competition, but a shared language of love, loyalty, and companionship. Section 9. A Love Story, Man, Wife, and Dog. Life returned to normal, but with a newfound understanding and appreciation for their furry family member. Emily and Jack had always loved each other, but Bruno, their golden retriever, had added a new dimension to their relationship. They found joy in the simple things, like taking Bruno for a walk in the park or playing fetch in their backyard. These moments, though small, were filled with laughter and happiness, creating memories that would last a lifetime. Emily and Jack were no longer just husband and wife. They were a team, a pack, bound together by love, gratitude, and a mischievous golden retriever named Bruno. Their evenings were now spent cuddling on the couch with Bruno nestled between them, watching their favorite shows. Weekends were dedicated to exploring new trails and parks, always with Bruno leading the way. They had become inseparable, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. The jealousy that had once threatened to drive them apart had transformed into a shared love for the creature that had brought them closer than ever before. Bruno had a way of making them laugh, whether it was through his playful antics or his endearing loyalty. He had a knack for sensing when one of them was feeling down and would offer a comforting nuzzle or a wag of his tail. In those moments, Emily and Jack realized just how much Bruno had become a part of their family. It was a love story, a man, his wife, and the dog who taught them the true meaning of loyalty, love, and the unbreakable bond that comes from sharing your life with a four-legged best friend. Bruno had shown them that love isn't just about grand gestures, but also about the everyday moments of kindness and companionship. He had taught them to appreciate the little things and to cherish the time they had together. In the end, it wasn't just Emily and Jack's love for each other that had grown, but also their love for the life they had built together with Bruno by their side.